All right, let's talk about a huge shift that's happening in the world of work right now. You might want to forget everything you thought you knew about climbing the corporate ladder. Because for Gen Z, there's a totally new path to success, and, well, it looks a whole lot more like a lily pad.
So, for decades, this was the playbook, right? The corporate ladder. It was rigid, it was linear, always a straight climb up within one single company. But now, a whole new idea is taking its place, especially with the youngest folks in the workforce. It's called the career lily pad. And it's flexible, it's multi-directional, it's all about moving across different jobs and industries, not just straight up.
So what in the world is career lily padding? Well, to put it simply, it's this strategy of jumping from one job to the next on purpose. Instead of just looking at that next rung on the ladder, it's about looking around, looking across, and seeing what other moves, even unconventional ones, can help you get where you really want to go. But here's the thing, this isn't just about random job hopping for the sake of it. No, there's a really powerful motivation behind this trend. So what's actually driving this huge shift away from the path that defined careers for generations? Let's get into the why.
Wow, I mean, that quote from a Gen Z worker pretty much says it all, doesn't it? It just cuts right to the heart of the issue. That old school idea of loyalty to a company in exchange for job security, that deal is pretty much off the table. It's a brand new, unapologetic calculation. And you can see that new calculation right here. This is what's being prioritized. Of course, better pay and better treatment are at the top, but look at everything else. We're talking about real work-life balance, finding work that actually feels meaningful, and, crucially, avoiding burnout. It's about having flexibility and, maybe most importantly, defining who you are outside of your job, a priority that, for a lot of people, got supercharged by the pandemic.
Okay, so we get the why, but how does this actually work as a real career strategy? Let's break down how all these hops can build into a solid plan. Because, it's a lot more deliberate than it might look on the surface.
So the lily pad strategy is really about building a career on your own terms. It means you're intentionally jumping from role to role, not just for a new title, but to pick up very specific skills. You're basically stacking different job experiences on top of each other and chasing roles that feel meaningful, getting you exposure that you just might not find on a single narrow career track.
And here's the key takeaway. This isn't about being flighty or throwing your future away. It's actually the exact opposite. Just because someone hops between companies doesn't mean they've given up on moving up. They are actively shaping their future, building this diverse toolbox of skills that they believe will make them more valuable and more adaptable down the road.
So you might be wondering, what happens when an entire generation starts playing by a totally different set of rules? Well, the impact on companies is just massive. This isn't just an individual choice anymore. It's a force that is actively reshaping the entire modern workplace.
The end result is a direct, you-can't-ignore-it challenge to the corporate status quo. That old idea that you can just hire a young person and expect them to stick around for decades, slowly climbing one ladder, yeah, that's quickly becoming ancient history. This table just lays out the shift perfectly. So on the left, you've got the old way. Companies wanted loyalty, they valued seniority above all. But now, look to the right at the new demands. The focus is completely shifted to adaptability and having a wide range of skills. And that forces HR to change its whole game, moving away from just hiring and promoting and focusing way more on retention and flexibility. That single ladder is being replaced by the multiple pathways this new generation is demanding.
And that really brings us to the biggest change of all here. If the path itself has changed so dramatically, it only makes sense that the destination, the very definition of success, has changed too.
For these lily padders, success is becoming something deeply personal. It's not just about getting the corner office or a fancy job title anymore. It's measured by a collection of unique experiences, a diverse portfolio of skills, and a real, genuine sense of personal fulfillment. You can almost think of it like building a highlight reel of cool projects and accomplishments that add up to a life that feels well-lived, not just well-worked.
So, we end on this big question, which kind of reframes this whole conversation. Is this just a passing trend? Or are we watching a permanent evolution in how we build our careers? Is the flexible, multi-directional lily pad actually becoming the new ladder for success? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.